What's up, YouTube? This is the EndZone. Make sure to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Thanks for cooperating when I was having exams in college, my first semester of college. At exams, they were pretty tough, but I think I did well, and there are way too many bowl games. Just going to go ahead and say that. My brain is numb after going over all these matchups. I had to cut some just because I didn't really care about all the non-Power 5 matchups, but these have all the Power 5 teams. If I missed any, please let me know, and I can give you my prediction down below in the comments section. But we'll begin this with the Las Vegas Bowl, 19 Boise State versus Washington. Right out the gate, I love the Broncos. One loss to BYU, and listen, Boise State believes they should be in the New Year's Six Bowl, while Washington has had a disappointing season. I think we can agree on that. Washington's offense is painfully having tons of struggles, especially on third down, last in the Pac-12. The defense for Washington is solid, but guys, Jalen Henderson has been hot lately, and I think the Broncos win the Las Vegas Bowl. Give me BSU 28 over UW 20. Next up, the Independence Bowl, La Tech versus Miami of Florida. I think everyone knows Miami had a rough season, losing its last two games to FIU and Duke. I think Jaron Williams can have success against a decent Bulldog defense, but I think Miami should have the upper hand. I just can't see the U losing to two Conference USA teams in the same year. Miami 24, Bulldogs 17. Next up is the Military Bowl, UNC and Temple. I realize that the Tar Heels have not beaten a team with a winning record, but Sam Howell has been firing off all cylinders, 35 passing touchdowns as a freshman. That's impressive. My problem with Temple is the turnover-prone offense. They do have a defense which allows 23.5 points per game, but I got to go with UNC here, 27-24. The Pinstripe Bowl featuring Michigan State and Wake Forest. Let's just get this one out of the way. The Spartans' offense is anemic, and the Deacons rely on Jamie Newman, who finished third in the ACC in passing touchdowns. Wake Forest is a better team overall, even if this is a defensive showdown. I feel comfortable with Wake winning this one 23-10 over the Spartans. The Texas Bowl with number 25 Oklahoma State and Texas A&M, two former Big 12 team facing a current Big 12 team. This is our first matchup featuring a ranked opponent. A&M had the hardest schedule in the country. Don't at me on that one. And Mike Gundy said this might be the best 7-5 team ever. Now, A&M has to stop Chuba Hubbard. You don't need to be a genius or a scientist to figure out that one. It's pretty straightforward. If A&M stops Hubbard, then that's the game. I realize that the Aggies have had trouble protecting Kellen Mond, but it's not like the Cowboys have a stout defense. I like the Aggies in this one because they will zero in on Hubbard, and if they can make the offense one-dimensional, the Aggies win 33-27 over the Cowboys. The Holiday Bowl. This is our first matchup featuring two ranked teams. Number 16 Iowa, number 22 USC. Now, this is an awesome matchup. I cannot wait to see this game. I can't say that enough. You got Keaton Slovis with USC's air raid offense and explosive wide receivers versus Iowa's number 10 pass defense. Now here's something. Nate Stanley has failed to throw for a touchdown in his last two games with 2 interceptions. USC allows 27.75 points per game. This is a hard pick. It's flashy versus old school. I'm gonna go with flashy just because I think it's more exciting and that's what I want to see. What the heck? Let's go with the upset. Trojans 26, Iowa 20, and a tight one. The Cheez-It Bowl, one of the bowl we had last year. Turnovers plagued that bowl game. This game I think is going to be a little different. Air Force and Washington State. Triple option and air raid, another super exciting game. Anthony Gordon has 5,228 passing yards and 45 touchdowns. That's crazy. The number one passing offense in the country. The Cougars have let up 31 points per game and have to play a triple option program who averages 34 points per game. Gotta be crazy if you think I'm not picking the 10-2 Falcons. Air Force 47, Cougars 45. Next up, the Camping World Bowl, 15 Notre Dame versus Iowa State. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Irish in this one. They are 6th in the country in touchdown percentage and are 92.2% in the red zone with 37 points per game. Iowa State does have an advantage on the ground with Breece Hall, as the Irish have an inconsistent run game. Listen, I just don't think Brock Purdy is going to be successful versus a number 3 pass defense in the country. Irish 31, Cyclones 20. Now here's another interesting matchup, the Music City Bowl, Louisville versus Mississippi State. The Cardinals have really turned things around this year with Mikal Cunningham as the starting signal caller, who is pretty mobile with 566 yards and 6 touchdowns on the ground. The Bulldogs have Kylan Hill, who I think is going to be unstoppable versus one of the worst defenses in the ACC. I predict a high-scoring affair in Nashville. Bulldogs 41, Cardinals 38. The Belk Bowl, Kentucky versus Virginia Tech. So if you haven't followed Kentucky football this season, their quarterback is a wide receiver. That's all I really need to say. The Hokies have weeks to plan and stop a one-dimensional offense. The defense for the Hokies and Kentucky are both solid, but Tech has the edge on offense. Hendon Hooker should get the win here. Tech 24, Wildcats 10. The Sun Bowl featuring Arizona State and Florida State. Florida State has become the laughingstock of college football, while the Sun Devils have kind of caught the spotlight with a huge win over Oregon. Jaden Daniels is a freshman sensation with Eno Benjamin at running back. Cam Akers is a strong back for FSU, but I just think ASU is a more complete team. ASU wins this one 24-23 over FSU. I think we're going to get a close one here at the Sun Bowl. The Liberty Bowl, Kansas State versus number 21 Navy. What stands out here to me is KSU's defense. They allow 21.5 points per game, and they will be tested versus the number 1 rush offense in the country. I don't feel great about Skylar Thompson in the Wildcats offense, so I'll pick the Midshipmen 31 over KSU 23. The Alamo Bowl has 11 Utah versus Texas. Once upon a time, Utah was in prime position for a trip to the playoffs. Texas, on the other hand, has had a far less impressive season. Utah's strength is defense, letting up 13 points per game. Sam Ehlinger has had a couple of games where he questioned his abilities, like the TCU game with 4 interceptions. He also was sacked 11 times in his last 5 games, and he's going to go up against a huge defensive line. Too much for Texas to handle in the Alamo Bowl. Utes 35, Longhorns 20. In the Birmingham Bowl, 21 Cincinnati faces off against Boston College. The main thing to look at for this game is A.J. Dillon, BC's best player, is not playing in the bowl. That's all. That's enough said. Combine that with some of the factors that Cincinnati's losses are to Ohio State and Memphis. I like the Bearcats heavy in this one, around 27-10 for Cincinnati. Indiana plays Tennessee in the Gator Bowl. Now, everyone knows about Tennessee's miracle turnaround season, but IU's had a remarkable season, primarily known as a basketball school. They're showing they could get some wins as a football team. IU struggles, though, against teams with winning records, and UT is hot. The defense is playing extremely well, and I question whether or not Peyton Ramsey can win the game through the air for Indiana. UT 31, Indiana 21. The Citrus Bowl featuring 13 Alabama and 14 Michigan. Lots of people like this matchup, and listen, even with Mac Jones at quarterback, Alabama's offense is going to put up points. We saw that against Auburn, but they have Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Waddle. Also, Najee Harris is a 1,000-yard rusher who's going to be tough to stop. The Wolverines have played much better the second half this season. Patterson is solid, averaging 33 points per game with this offense. Bama's offense is just too much here. Bama 42, Michigan 30. Our final game for all games not New Year's 6, 12 Auburn, 18 Minnesota. This is my favorite matchup. Now, this is a game Auburn should be ready for. Alabama and LSU both heavily emphasize the RPO offense strategy, and Minnesota has 2 1,000-yard receivers. The Gophers lose when they can't run the ball, and Auburn's strength is the front 7. By the time I'm recording this, I don't know if the whole D-line for Auburn is playing, but they're still spectacular. The Gophers' defense is alright, but I can't bet against the Tigers with that defense. Auburn 28, Gophers 17. These are the predictions for all the interesting bowl games that I could get, except for the New Year's 6 games. Gotta watch another video for those predictions. And then, of course, we will be following the college football playoffs as they come up. Thanks for watching the End Zone. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below so we can move the chains.